Hey boomers, Liam here. Up for a new boomer shooter and love your Warhammer? Well, Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun has just released on Steam, and for the most part it works really well. There are two issues that I've come across that I'll tell you straight away. The first is that videos are not currently working, as you just get a sort of Proton test screen instead. Another issue that I encountered was external controller support on Steam Deck, with both my Xbox and 8BitDo Ultimate controllers not having any input until I unplugged them and then plugged them back in and pressed a button on the Steam Deck. Then they actually worked. But then using the D-pad on an external controller actually caused the UI to flicker wildly. It seems to be Steam Deck specific because Gamepad plugged in on my Linux desktop actually worked fine. It's a bit weird, but apart from that, the rest of the gameplay works absolutely fine. I've been doing it on SteamOS Preview 3.4.8, the latest preview, with Proton 8, and no other changes. Now, the test screen video issue is a problem where Proton can't play proprietary codecs, and what Valve usually do is recode them to something else it can play and give it out with the shader cache, so that issue will eventually be solved anyway. So, issues out of the way, what do we have here? It's a blend of Warhammer-themed visuals with the retro feel of 90s shooters, what everyone now calls a boomer shooter. It's a homage to the classics, much like Dusk, Ion Fury, Proteus, Ultra Kill, and the list goes on, with certainly not short on retro shooters from these past few years. To put the game quite simply, take Doom's style and combat, the original Doom, and the visual flair for fans of Warhammer 40k. It's a pretty simple description, but I feel it really hits the nail on the head here. You run around carefully designed maps, taking out every enemy that you spot, finding various secrets, and to grab some extras, you pick up new powerful weapons, and then find the keys in each area to move forward. And then at the end of a level, it will give you the scoring and note how many secrets you missed, just like the classics. Now, I'm certainly no expert at these games. I'm pretty rubbish, in fact, and yet I still love them. I play loads of them, and they usually take me quite a while to get through because I don't quite have the reflexes needed for their blistering pace. However, in this case, I didn't really have that problem. I think they've done a really good job in designing it in such a way that even someone like me with the reflexes of a sloth and the aim of a stormtrooper can play it with a big fat grin on my face. And that grin was very wide. What an absolute whirlwind this game has been. So it has pretty standard retro level mechanics. The real hook is the 40k theme and the awesome combat. It really is epic. It really makes you feel like a kick-ass marine, especially when you land some pretty insane blows on enemies. I'm a little bit in love with the saw that you have, where you can leap around with it, as it allows you to basically auto home in on enemies if you're within range, and you can sort of rev it up for bigger enemies to keep hitting them with it. The performance in this is actually pretty good, although some of the more intense bites and when you go into new areas it can drop the performance a little bit momentarily, but it quickly picks back up. What I've been doing is locking the Steam Deck performance menu to 45Hz, and then the in-game video options, I've set the gore pull to medium, anisotropic filtering on 4, post-processing on medium, ambient occlusion on, and material quality on medium. And with those settings, apart from when it's loading those new bits in or when it needs to build up a little bit of the shader cache where you get that momentary drop, it's been sticking really close to that solid 45 and it feels pretty great overall. I'm as shocked as you, another recent release that actually works really well out of the gate. As you play through, expect to see a ridiculous amount of pixel blood. Just don't worry about the story. I haven't a clue what's going on at any point, and you're not really given a whole lot of info, but really, who the hell cares? You're a space marine going around kicking some serious ass against all sorts of weirdos, and you do it with style for glory. I think they absolutely nailed pretty much everything about the design of the game. Although I do hope some of the momentary performance drops can be worked out, it's likely in need of a shader cache being built up, along with just a few little performance optimizations in the game when you're going into new areas, but nothing big or too problematic. It really has been an absolute blast to play through, and I really hope we see more like this. It's without a doubt one of my favourite boomer shooters released in some time. Stuff like this only continues to show that, unlike the major AAA games, you don't need to constantly chase realism. There's plenty of room for stuff like this that's more on the retro side and a whole lot of fun. I've been playing it through on medium, and I'm surprised at just how sort of fair the combat feels. I might actually have to play it again, bumping up the difficulty, and that's saying a lot. I don't often replay single player games like this on a higher difficulty because I've just enjoyed it that much, and I feel like I want it to hurt me plenty. If you're into shooters, I can happily say it's worth picking up. What just pure joy. Just keep in mind, for now, the broken videos and the iffy external controller support, which is likely not a problem for most people on Steam Deck. But that's it for now, thanks for listening, and I'll see you later.